start recording. Kick us off. Welcome,
Right.
guys.
Welcome, guys. Today is
Hey. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen, not Tina. Today's Thursday, August 30th. This is our weekly success chat for Fit Focus and Take Back Your Plate. So we want to start with just a couple of announcements, and the first being that Tina and I and our whole team are hosting a flash sale right now. So if you are not in that private group, DM us, one of us, after this and get in there. There is some really good discounted savings on some bundle packages on programs and nutrition, beach bars, the performance line. So if there's something you've been wanting to try, but you just haven't pulled the trigger yet, this sale might be a great way to open that door for you. And also get in on some fun daily drawings, a big $50 shopping spree if you're the grand prize drawing winner. Really just some really great information about some different products that we have to offer to help us all work towards our goals. So like I said, if you're not in that flash sale group, message us after this call. It's 48 hours only, so it ends a hard cutoff Saturday at noon. So if you're listening to the replay, I hope you're listening quickly after the live event. The second announcement is we want to recognize our leaderboard. So we're running a leaderboard for Take Back Your Plate based on like our daily check-ins, right, with our 5 activities or 5 vital behaviors. And we're also recognizing a leaderboard from our Fit Focus group, and that's based on consistency of checking into the Challenge Tracker app, sharing with us your Shakeology and or your workout. So we'll start with our Take Back Your Plate leaderboard. And this week, for our top weekly check-ins, we have Marlene Banway, Elizabeth Hinders right there at the top, Jennifer Jones, Liz Show, Erin Huber, great consistency, Tina, myself, Paula Brown, and Dawn Flint Hill. In that group, if you're not familiar, we have a spot where every time we lose 2 pounds, you ring the bell. So you post and celebrate that 2-pound loss, and then also share your total weight loss since implementing the 2B mindset. So this week's bell ringers with their total weight loss since starting the program, we have Dawn Flint Hill with 20.8 pounds, Tina with 10.2 pounds, Shauna Litzinger with 6.2 pounds, Amy LaPierre with 4 pounds, Elizabeth Hinders with 3 pounds, right in there again, right at the top, jumping in. Paula Brown with 2 pounds. So to those of you that are in this Take Back the Plate group, and Tina and I talked about this a little bit before the call, but you guys were all dropping off. So this is our wake-up call. Look for my post tomorrow because it's like, I don't know, drill sergeant for myself and for all of you as well. And Fit Focus people, don't think you're getting out of it because you're going to see it too. So let's just enjoy the weekend and then really recommit to why we're in these groups, okay? So our Fit Focus group, based on consistency in logging shakes and workouts for this group so far, we want to recognize Shauna Litzinger, who is doing lift 4, Molly McCauley, who is doing lift 4, Latasha Birch, lift 4, Bryn Elliott, T25, and Wendy Brown, who's been just checking in with her active lifestyle, playing softball. Her team just won the championship game the other night. So, it's not always about committing to a specific program. That is definitely helpful if you have specific health goals. But if you're just living a healthy, active lifestyle, jump into these groups and share that with us too, right? It's a lifestyle group, and it's more than just that 30 to 40 minute workout, okay? So like I said, after my post tomorrow, it's a little bit of a drill sergeant, a little bit of a hard wake-up call, a little bit of slap on the wrist for all of us to get ourselves back on track. So Tina, did you have anything to add for announcements?
I didn't, but I would say, you guys, this is just a good time. It's so busy, like with school and the end of summer and just that change and transition as we head into September. So it's just a really good time for us to take that deep breath in and really plan that consistency for ourselves, right? You've got to don't just leave it to chance. I sometimes leave it to chance. I'm like, I got to check in, and I do so much better if I just set that time in the morning, to do it while I'm doing my journaling, to check into the group and be there. So I would say the more consistency you can build, and right now is a great time, right? Because your schedule might be changing or, revamping a little bit. So just make that how you want it to be, and set yourself up for success, because checking in and being there definitely helps you be more successful.
Yep. Okay, so with that, we'll jump right into this week's training topics, which were like a hectic schedule, what to do with that when you have weight loss or healthy living goals, and also how to still work towards your goals when you are limited on sleep, which, like Tina said, it's a busy time of year. I don't know that there's any time of year that's not busy, but our schedules probably are changing right now with kids back to school. Just the change in the seasons brings different activities, right? So I hope that this information is helpful. I hope that it gives you some ideas, and I hope that if you have other ideas or things that work well for you, that you'll jump into our groups and share that with our entire community, because, the groups are great for accountability, but there also can be a really great resource where we can confidently and comfortably share what's working for us and also where we're struggling, and pull from each other's resources and knowledge and background and histories to help us all feel like we're moving in the right direction toward our goals. So let's start with like the hectic schedule. And a lot of this, a lot of the questions we get are, well, if I have this many containers, when should I be eating them? Or, with the plate-it method, when should I be eating? When should I be dinner and done? When should I be starting, like in the morning with my breakfast? And, the big answer is we can't really tell you that, because everybody's schedules are different, but all of our bodies work differently too, right? So in general, your body will process food better, dinner specifically, if you give yourselves about 10-ish hours between your last meal and like when you step on the scale. Like it takes generally about 10 hours for your body to come to its dry weight, which will be your lowest weight you see. It's after a good restful period. It's after, no food or drink, just kind of when your body can decompress. But if you are working night shifts, if you are working 12-hour shifts, whether that be at a job or as a busy mom or a friend or whatever, right? Work is work. And location really doesn't matter. But I would venture to guess there are very few of us that, start our day at 8 o'clock in the morning and shut it down at 8 o'clock at night and are getting 12 hours of sleep and life is just peachy, right? It just doesn't happen like that. And every day is different. So the biggest suggestion I can give is that no matter what your hectic schedule looks like, or no matter what the cause of it is, what we really need to do is focus on our waking hours, right? So we have this block of time where we're awake. And what can we do with those waking hours to space our meals so that they give us sustained energy and a feeling of being full and satisfied? So if you are up early, like me at 4 o'clock, and I don't go to bed until 9 or 10 o'clock. If you are working a long 12-hour shift, really sit down this weekend with like your average day and say, okay, I know that from 4 to 8, my life is crazy because I'm working out, I'm getting myself ready and out the door, I'm getting my kids out the door, I don't have time to cook. What is my breakfast option and what time is that going to take place? Okay, for me, it's like 8 o'clock when I hit the highway to travel to work. Okay, and once you take that, look at the rest of your waking hours and how can you space your lunch and dinner and maybe an afternoon snack to give you sustained energy. And if we're looking for sustained energy, where are you placing your yellow containers or your FFCs for 2B mindset, right? So in the 2B mindset, you learn that an FFC is what gives you energy. It's what like keeps your body going. And when we're tired, it's the things we also reach for to give us that quick energy boost, which we'll talk about a little bit when we get to the sleep portion. But if you're blocking out your waking hours, looking to really, stick to your containers or the plate-it method, really write down and schedule out when those FFCs are, when those yellow containers are, and I would suggest them be earlier in the day so that your body is fueled and not amped up at bedtime, right? It doesn't have that extra energy in it when it's trying to shut down when you go to bed. Along with this, you know, if you're journaling and tracking your food, which we suggest, make sure you're including your time that you eat. As I've come in and out of journaling and in and out of including the time, I've definitely noticed that the earlier I can eat dinner, generally I will see, you know, either my weight stay the same the next morning or see a drop. And I did some research with this through some of Alana's resources, and it's because of that sleep cycle, right? That 10 hours. So the longer you can give your body to process everything you've taken in during the day, your food and all your stressors and your environmental factors, the more the scale is going to reflect the change that you want to see. I already mentioned this, but you know, when you're journaling your food and you're using the scale day to day to see how that food impacts your body, make sure you're doing that at your driest weight. So that would be after the longest stretch of sleep you have. 10 hours would be great. Would love to get 10 hours, but you know, just do the best you can. But I always do it after using the restroom and before working out. And I do it before working out because as you work out, your blood volume increases, and that can make your scale, like the number on the scale, go up. So for me, I don't feel like that's a true reflection of the progress I'm making when my body is like just coming out of a stressed out state. And if you're on night shift, you know, I mean, you really have to take the sunshine and the moonlight out of it and just look at it as awake hours and sleep hours. So if you're on night shift and you're getting up at 5 o'clock in the evening to go to work, like that's essentially your morning. That's when you want to, that's when you're going to be at your driest weight. That's when you want to step on the scale. That's when you want to start looking at that block of waking hours to schedule your food out, you know. And if you have that 12-hour shift, what can you do, and what type of food makes you feel full and satisfied? How can you plan that out when you know that your job requirements, you know that sometimes it's unpredictable? So what grab and go things can you take with you to keep that full and satisfied feeling and also give you that sustained energy? And then, you know, towards the end of your shift, you're going to, you know, we're all tired at the end of the day. So at the end of your shift, you know, what can you do to keep yourself out of those FFCs, to keep yourself out of that yellow container? And I think if you when you meal plan, if you try to schedule that yellow container just for a few days or a week or so, you're going to get in the habit of having that food group earlier in the day, and then it won't matter if it's just a long work day or a night shift or just a crazy day. You're going to adjust to that, and it will become your normal. 3 things that Alana suggested, you know, in this season of having crazy schedules, 3 specific things is that if you are eating a later dinner, you're probably going to see the scale come up the next day. Know that that's a day-to-day fluctuation. Don't get frustrated. Don't stress out. Don't let it derail yourself. Just know that, you know, you need to try to eat earlier and make a plan to do that, right? So we share tons of like quick meal ideas within the groups and in our pages if you go through some of those resources. She suggested that if you have a consistent breakfast, you're going to feel full and satisfied, but it also takes a mental load off of yourself in meal planning and in trying to get everybody out the door or the day started, because you have the same thing or the same couple things throughout the week. You don't have to think about it. It just is what it is. And for me, it's been Shakeology. And I've tried Shakeology at every time of the day, and it just works best for me to use it as my consistent breakfast, because it's like I don't have to think about it, right? I just know that that's what it's going to be. The other thing to try is to push off your lunch a little bit. So if you're eating breakfast around 8 o'clock, rather than having a 12 o'clock lunch, have like 16 ounces of water and try to push your lunch to 1 o'clock and see if that doesn't give you like, I don't know, more feeling satisfied with your results and less mindless reaching towards those quick hit energy carbs later in the afternoon. And I was going through my journal earlier tonight, and not this week, but the last couple of weeks when I was feeling really good and really seeing the progress I wanted to see on the scale, that was something that I noticed in my tracker, was that I was having that later lunch, which eliminated the afternoon snack. And I never noted once in my journal that I was starving, right? So play around with the timing of your meals based on that block of waking time. You guys have any questions about scheduling, when to eat? No? Okay. So we'll jump right into the sleep thing. And I think the sleep thing is probably the hardest for most people, right? Because you're so busy during the day, and if you have kids, you finally get the kids to bed, and it's like you can finally take this breath and either sit and not have the mom like on repeat in the background, or you can read the book or watch the TV show or do your workout or whatever, right? Or mindlessly scroll social media, and before you know it, the kids have been in bed for 2 hours and you're exhausted the next morning. So, as far as sleep goes, lack of sleep plays a huge role in our fitness and our health progress and our results. And, the experts will tell you 10 to 12 hours of sleep. I'm telling you, I don't know the last time I got that amount of sleep. But you can still make progress on limited sleep. And the things you can do are to realize that if you prioritize sleep over those activities you're doing at night or first thing in the morning that aren't adding value to your journey, you're gonna gain some minutes, right? You're gonna gain some time. So I've noticed that the last week when I've really fallen off kind of on my nutrition and just haven't been feeling great, it's been PMS, and it's been staying up too late, reading or scrolling or texting friends. And if I would just go to bed when the kids go to bed, because I'm not doing anything that contributes to the household, I'm not really doing anything that is productive with my time. If I would just go to bed when the kids go to bed, I would feel so much more energy in the morning. My nutrition wouldn't be lacking because my hormones are more in balance, and I would see the progress I want to see in my workouts and my nutrition as the week goes on. And the hormone thing is a big player in this, and not necessarily like your specific hormone levels or where you're at in your own personal hormonal journey, but really it's that when we go to sleep, it triggers a hormone that suppresses it triggers our body to suppress the hunger hormone, right? It shuts it off, and it increases the leptin hormone, which tells us that we're full and satisfied. So when I'm up late at night and I'm feeling like I just need to do a pantry, I call it a run by pantry raid. When you walk by and you just grab a handful of whatever. When I'm feeling that need, if I could just recognize that that's my body asking for sleep, I'm not really hungry. This is my brain tricking myself into thinking I need that carb, that quick hit carb for energy. Where all I'm really doing is sabotaging myself. If I could just stop myself and recognize that craving as a craving for sleep, I'd be much better off. And maybe you can relate to that too. When we're tired, if we could focus on more water and more vegetables and follow the More Sure model from the 2B, if you're in that program, we'll be happier with our bodies and our mindset and our emotional state. If you're tired and you do that pantry run by and you grab something silly, track it, right? You got to track it. If we don't track it, and not just what we ate, but maybe what was going on at the time or how we were feeling, you don't know. And it's really, really easy to put those instances of, not so great decisions on the back burner and cover them up with everything else we did okay during the day. And those bad decisions become out of sight, out of mind. And if we're not tracking it, we have no way of knowing why we're not seeing the progress that we want to be seeing in this healthy living journey. And just, finally, Alana really mentioned this, and I kind of alluded to it before, but if you think that you need that quick hit carb for more energy at 9 o'clock at night because you're staying up and scrolling or, doing whatever non-productive activity it is you do at night, realize that it really is our mind playing tricks on us. But if you do need it to get through, whatever, you have exams, you have homework assignments, you're at the end of that 12-hour shift, really reach for a carb that is high fiber and low in sugar. So that's an FFC, high fiber, low in sugar. And what this is going to do is it eliminates that addictive property of that food because of the low sugar content. But because of the high fiber, it really does give us sustained energy. It doesn't give us that spike and crash in blood sugar where you eat the candy bar, you feel good for an hour, and then pretty soon you're needing something else to keep going. So, it's the sleep is hard. Sleep is something we probably all need to prioritize more and realize that if we took that extra hour of sleep every night, we would probably get more done physically during the day, contributing to our jobs, our households, whatever the case may be, and feel better about the progress that we're making as we do these workouts and really work on our nutrition. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that something in there is something you can take away to start applying this next week. For me, it's going to be the sleep factor. And when I find myself doing the pantry run by, just shutting the door and just going to bed, regardless of whatever else needs to be done in the house or whatever Facebook post I happen to be looking at the time. So, you guys have any questions for us this week in general? Anything?
So we're going to open it up in just a minute and share one thing that's going really well right now and one thing you want to work on as we move to the next week. So be thinking about that. But I was going to say, Jen, there was another call that you shared, that app Clue, is it called?
Yes.
Is that it? Do you want to talk a little bit on that? And I actually took from that when you shared that last time, and that's really helped. And I'll share that in just a second, but if you'll tell them a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Clue is a free app. I think it was free. It was free, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, free app you can download, and you can track all sorts of stuff. You can track your mood and all sorts of things, but what I use it to track it for is my cycle. And up until this year, I've had a pretty regular cycle, like every 28 days, like clockwork. And I don't know what has happened this year, if it's age or a change in workouts or what not, but I'm a little more less stable, I guess. So what it does is it allows you to track. You can track every day of the month, like the symptoms you're feeling, as far as cravings, energy levels, moodiness, weight. And then you can also track like the first day. Here, I'm going to try to show you the first day of your cycle and how long it lasts. But then what it does is it projects when the first day of your next cycle is going to be. And this is how I figured out that my nutrition has been crap this week because of PMS. Because the last 2 weeks I've been on fire, nailing it, like feeling fantastic. And I don't know, I couldn't figure out what happened this week where all I wanted was junk food. And I was in that I don't care mindset. Like, why does it matter? Until I open this app, and today is day 25. I don't know if this is going to work, of my cycle. So I know that it's PMS. And I know this about myself. Like, when I go back through my food journal, every three and a half weeks, I have these same notes. I did the pantry run by because I was tired. I wanted chocolate. I'm craving salt. Like, all of these triggers for me, but I don't put it together until I look at this silly little circle that tells me where I'm at in my cycle. So there's that view. There's a calendar view here, which I don't know if anybody's in the trying to conceive phase of life, but if you are, it also will tell you when your fertile window is, which is that blue star there. And the red is your cycle. And then all of those little squares are things I tracked, like energy, cravings, mood, etc. So if you're looking for something to try to maybe gain some more insight, the app is called Clue. and it's free, and I use the very basic features, but it's really been helpful for me.
Yeah, and I think it's good. And there are a lot of things you could track there. So it's really interesting because it will put a lot of those projections and tell you kind of what's going on. But I started using it for that same reason that, because when Jen shared that, I was always falling off, that, and it's usually that week before, you have your cycle starts again. And just, having that in mind is so empowering to just know why you're facing those things. Right. And that's what makes the journaling so powerful, is that you're really writing your own story there, and, coming across and seeing patterns like that and now feeling like, you can do something about that. And so I really like this app because I wanted to remember that, but I would never, I never really knew like exactly how long my cycle was or what that is. And, my typical cycle from now tracking it for, I think maybe at least 3 months, since you mentioned that, is only 25 days, right? So I'm like, dude, it comes up way too fast. But it helps me because mentally I can be like, okay, if I know that that's coming and that's a problem, like I can just do some other things that really help myself, to overcome that rather than throwing my hands up and saying, I just got to go eat chocolate for 3 days and that's just going to be the way it is. So these are great tips, Jen. These are really, really great, I think. And it's just what I would just suggest to you guys is, again, what Jen said, like what speaks to you, where do you need to have that start? Like do that, do that thing and focus in on that. For me, it is like, it's so hard to like, I know I don't like to work at night. I'm so tired, and I know I don't do my best work at night, but sometimes it's hard to put that anxiety of putting something aside so that you can go to bed, get refreshed, and get up in the morning. But I've really been trying to work harder at that, and it's getting easier and it's getting better. And I do agree, like when you have those, finding what your productive time is and working within that will just help you get so much more done rather than trying to push through those times when you're not, and then you're just, killing yourself with some of these bad habits, that typically revolve around eating for stress or distraction or boredom, that we typically turn to food. So thank you. I'm going to keep working on that, as my big one. And consistent breakfast, that's been hard for me too, but that's one I've been trying to really work on and find what that thing is for me that can stay consistent, whether it's a crazy morning or a pretty relaxed morning, so that I can do a better job at that. Because I've been using the containers now with Lift 4, but following those 2B mindset principles, and like Jen said, eating those carbs earlier in the day, really trying to kind of see that plate it method, which they really can go so well together. And it's working well. I really like that, and making, I see my food as purposeful now, from 2B mindset, and that has just been something that's really, really helpful. So okay, you guys, so what's gone well? What are you going to work on real quick, like 30 seconds? Elizabeth, you want to start for us?
Sure. Water has gone really well. I've been killing it with the water. What I need to work on is the 75% veggies during supper, because I like maybe 2 vegetables. So I need to find things that I like. So that's my biggest thing that I need to work on.
Okay, cool. What are the vegetables you like? I remember the Moroccan carrot salad got boring after a while.
I like green beans, carrots, and broccoli. But I don't like carrots or broccoli, or I like cauliflower, but I don't like any of it cooked. Green beans I'll eat cooked, but.
Okay, cool. So we'll chat. We'll see if we can come up with that. And some of that's just going to be trying some new things, right?
Yeah.
Shot. So, but I highly suggest trying the cauliflower rice.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have before or not.
I haven't.
Okay.
I've tried the cauliflower mashed stuff, and it just tasted like cooked cauliflower to me. But yeah. I want to get a veggie spiralizer so I can try like zucchini noodles or carrot. I like carrots, so maybe carrot noodles or something.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea too. Good. We'll try a couple of the cauliflower recipes in the 2B Mindset cookbook, in the recipe book. Mm-hmm. So the risotto I really like, and the cauliflower fried rice. Like I don't even make rice for my family anymore when we're having dinners, because it really is good. And we'll share some tips too. So that's good to work on.
Great.
I would just try one new thing a week, and if you love it, great.
Yeah.
And try it a couple of times, because sometimes I find our palates change as we get older too. From what we didn't enjoy as a kid, sometimes we can enjoy that more. My husband's a big kid, and he's he's starting to enjoy a little bit more, so it's good. That's awesome. Good job, Erin.
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Things have been going good. I've gotten to the point where the plate it for me is pretty consistent. My issue right now is I'm like, oh, I'm almost at, I've hit 25 pounds. And so I was like, oh, I don't need to, keep worrying about losing weight every single day. So then I'm like, oh, I can have French fries, because that's where I'm like, oh, I can have a chip. Oh, I can do this. And then I'm like, no, I'm maintaining, but I'm not, losing anything. So I'm just adding more carbs that probably don't need. But I am more, veggies most often is where I'm at. But then, those extra carbs is where I'm going wrong.
Am I muted or? Okay, I'm not muted. I was like thinking I was muted to answer your question. So, okay, good. Yeah, keep working on that. Right, that's that mindset piece, right? So I think for you, like, what's your goal now? You've got to have some focus to get to what that next level is, right? You reached that. You've reached the finish line of that. So what's your next finish line? I think that would be a good focus for you to figure out this week too.
I'm thinking I'm going to try lift 4. That's where I want to go next, but I just have to do it now.
Yeah, good. That'll be a good one, because you can really control the impact. So for the weights and stuff. Cool. Jen, what were you gonna add?
I was just gonna say that for the fries, Sean is in our groups and is like fry addicted. Recently bought an air fryer and has fallen in love with turnip fries in the air fryer. I just bought an air fryer. I haven't tried it yet. She said she tried them in the oven and she didn't like them. She tried them in the air fryer and it was like a whole new dish. So that would be a vegetable idea too, maybe, Elizabeth, for you.
Got it. Perfect.
Awesome.
We have an air fryer, so.
Yay!
Yes.
Share your favorite recipes.
Yeah.
Use mine.
You never think like turnips, but and I agree. I thought they turned out a little mushy when I tried them in the oven. So I'd love to hear feedback and see how that goes. So
I didn't like it in the air fryer.
You didn't?
No. I tried them like 3 or 4 times, different ways, and I still couldn't get it.
Keep working at that, and just use that as your splurge when you want to, but make sure it's like it's thoughtful. I guess is purposeful, right? Use that. Cool.
That's what I'm trying for.
I'll put together some like store-bought FFC product ideas and get that put up in the group. Probably next week at this point. But that might help all of us too with this busy season of having some things we know we can grab off the store shelf that fit the plate it guidelines and would also be good for container counts. And if we could just keep that list on our phones, it would just be pocket accessible as we're grocery shopping.
Yeah, I think that's great. Okay, if we have time, Jen and I will share, but we're almost out of time. So if it cuts us off, then we will share in the group for sure. So what's going well for me? Like, I just feel like I've got a great routine. Water. I just feel always like I'm hitting my half body ounces, but I just always feel like I need more. So I really want to work on that. You made me jealous today, Elizabeth, when I saw 130 ounces.
Still haven't reached half my body weight though.
No, but that's great. You're doing good. So Jen.
The only thing going well for me right now is my workouts because I haven't put the work into my nutrition. So I've hit half my body weight in water, like skimming by, and the rest of it's been a crap.